Welcome to the Purveyor Zone. My name is Ron Melendi, certified master tobacconist, cigar connoisseur, and purveyor of fine cigars and smoking accessories. Today is April 9th, 2021, so sit back, pour yourself a libation, light up your favorite cigar, relax, and prepare to experience life's earthly pleasures from around the world with the Cigar Purveyor. And today we're in Queensbury, New York with Kathleen Kelly, owner of Queensbury Cigar and Pipe. How you doing, Kathleen?
I'm very good, Ron. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back at this great establishment once again.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. We brought summer here for you for today.
Yes, it's beautiful. I think it's like 75 degrees outside or something like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful up here. So our snow just melted a couple of weeks ago, so we're ready.
Yes, and we have a lot to talk about. It's been a very interesting year, as we all know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what's been going on here at Queensbury Cigar and Pipe.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot of things since last time I spoke with you. It has been a crazy year with the pandemic and made for a lot of changes at the shop.
Right.
I'm sure it did for a lot of businesses. You had to kind of reevaluate how you did business for a while.
Absolutely.
The good thing is things are getting back to normal now, which is great. We're seeing a lot more people out and about. A lot of people are getting vaccinated. So, we've made some changes here to our patio to expand that.
Right. And I saw that outside. I mean, your patio is just a great addition here to the, I mean, I know you've had a patio for a while, but it looks like it's been upgraded. You got some new railing. It just is a great space to enjoy the Adirondack atmosphere here in Queensbury, outside, enjoy nature and the weather and just, enjoy your cigar out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'd like to say we've always had a great patio, but I wanted to make it better, and that's one of the things with what we're going through. People want to be outdoors too, especially in the nice weather. So if you can provide a comfortable place for people to be outside and outdoors, it's great. So yeah, we expanded the furniture, just updated a lot of stuff on the patio just to make a nice experience out there for people.
Yeah, and I mean, if you ever find yourself in this area in Queensbury, New York, you got to do yourself a favor and come down here. I mean, it's just it kind of looks like a log cabin. Not really a log cabin, but kind of like a rustic maybe.
Yeah, it's very Adirondack style.
Yes, Adirondack style. Just beautifully decorated. We're sitting in the VIP lounge here. It's the Monte Cristo.
Yes, it's
cigar
the
lounge.
Monte Cristo members lounge.
Right.
And this is a private lounge. And then we have an indoor lounge that's open to everybody.
Okay.
And that's got a beautiful stone fireplace in there. And then obviously we have the patio.
Yeah. So it's basically a one-stop shop for a cigar connoisseur, or even if you're getting started into cigars, your staff and yourself are very knowledgeable. And you've done a great job educating people, and you have different events and things happening here. And if you ever want to know about cigars, this is the place in this area to definitely come by and to gain some knowledge and to be kind of directed towards the right path in your cigar journey, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And the area is beautiful. We're in the Lake George area, Saratoga. So there's beautiful mountains here. Lake George, a big vacation area for people. So we definitely see an influx in the summer of people vacationing and,
right.
Maybe somebody wants to drop the kids off across the street to go-kart and play mini golf and come over and have a cigar.
Yeah, you have like just in this area, there's like an amusement park. There's I passed on the way over here. There's like an ice cream place. There are restaurants. There's hotels. I mean, this is an area. Oh, and then there's the outlets.
Yes, there is outlet shopping.
Yes, I saw that also here.
And there's been a lot of guys that drop their wives off at the outlets and come here to have a cigar. So.
Pay attention. You bring your wife, drop her off at the outlets, and
kids can go across the street, play mini golf.
Yeah,
and you can come have a cigar on the patio.
Yeah, so it's definitely a family oriented destination, if you will.
Yeah,
for sure. So there's been a lot going on in the last year. It's been I think we did an original podcast here, probably, I don't know, a year and a half ago, if that.
Yeah, I feel like that was 2019.
Something like that. Yeah. And that one we did a lounge showcase. So be sure to check that out because This is going to be more of a catching up type of episode. We have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about what Queensbury has done, during the pandemic to get through these trying times, and then there's also the big issue of the what's going on in Albany and the tobacco tax, and your role in the NYTA, or the New York Tobacconist Association, which is constantly fighting up in Albany to try to roll back the taxes and to ease up some of these regulations, which are just crippling these small businesses.
They are tough. And the New York Tobacconist Association is always looking to help out tobacco shops, the small mom and pop shops in the state, and consumers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to get into that in real detail in just a moment. But before we do that, what have you done here in the last year to kind of pivot and adapt in these trying times?
Yeah, it's funny. Those two words come up all the time: pivot and adapt. Those are like the two words of 2020 when you own a business.
Yeah, well, you have to, you have to pivot. You have to be able to do something. If you're just going to sit and cry and not do anything, well, then it's a kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, I mean, I think whether, what happened in 2020, the pandemic, all of that happened or not happened, you should always be adapting.
Oh, absolutely.
And pivoting and growing and changing. And, we all know we go to cigar lounges for that experience, right?
Absolutely.
So you always want to provide a good experience, and you want that to, I like to kind of keep that changing and growing because it makes it more fun to come back, and there's new and exciting things going on all the time.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you're just going to just do the status quo and just do everything the same day in and day out, well, you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
It's going to be boring. And you're not going to be happy. But if you're constantly adapting, changing, and trying new things, I think you're going to do your business basically a huge service.
Yeah. Well, listen, somebody could go and sit in their garage and smoke a cigar, right? So what makes them want to come here?
Exactly.
So you want to always be changing. But yeah, last year was definitely a challenge for us, for myself, for a lot of businesses. And, we were shut down for a little bit in New York. New York was a little strict with opening of different businesses.
So when you mean shut down, you were like 100% closed, or did you?
We were closed for about 14 days.
Like totally, you couldn't do anything.
Completely closed.
Like go back to your house.
Yeah, pretty much. I sent my employees to work remotely at home. We had a couple of people running the mail order because mail order was considered an essential business.
Okay.
And then the way it was defined in New York is if you had one person running the business doing curbside, you could open. So, it was tough in the beginning. We were all taken by surprise, every business, so you're kind of just trying to, say, okay, hang on. How are we going to make this work? And for me at the shop here, we went to delivery. Mm-hmm. So you could phone in an order, we'd bring it to you, and then we did curbside pickup for a long time.
Right.
Until we were able to start, the restrictions got a little bit lighter, and we were able to space people out in here and had minimum seating.
So, okay. So if my memory serves me correctly, we kind of entered into the lockdown phase sometime mid to late March of last year. I imagine April and May were the roughest, I would say, in terms of lockdown.
Yeah, for sure. April and May. I would say, end of March through April. Right. Again, everybody's even consumers, they're trying to figure out how to get their cigars, what they can do, phoning in. And it's hard when you do curbside, you have to remember the customer's not looking in your humidor, so now they're going, okay, hang on, what cigars do I want?
So that was a challenge because they can't walk around.
Right, exactly.
So I guess like they'll call you and I'll be like, hey, Kathleen, this is Ron. And now either I have to kind of go through my head and say, what do you have in terms of Padron or Fuente or whatever?
Right.
But they're probably not thinking about a lot of other brands because it's not in front of them.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. What's great about being open again now is people can come in and say, "Oh, I sometimes you just don't think about certain brands, you know."
Yeah, but you might notice it when you walk in. You say, "Oh yeah, I always wanted to try that," or "I heard about that one."
Absolutely.
When did about what time did were you allowed to start to let customers back into the shop?
Gosh, thinking back, I want to say that was probably around May. We started letting people back in. We had limited hours. We really tried to be cautious here too. So we were doing a sign-in. So you would call ahead, make a reservation, and we would have your information because I want to always protect my customers and my employees. You know,
no, absolutely.
Yeah. And I didn't want anybody to get sick, you know?
No,
so you'd have to wear a mask like a restaurant until you sit down, you can take it off, smoke your cigar. I mean, we're mandated to do that by the state anyway, but, you know, so we were very cautious because again, I don't want anybody getting sick on my watch. You know, it's something you can't control, but you can take precautions.
Right. And it sounds like you've had pretty good success in terms of protecting not only your team, but also your customers.
Yeah. Very, very successful. So that's good. Yeah.
So then whatever you were doing was working.
Yeah.
So that's good news. And you still have, fast forward to today.
Yep.
We're now in, April of 2021. Have some of those restrictions lifted?
Yeah. We're pretty much at almost full capacity here.
Okay.
Again, we still kind of space out. Our furniture's a little spaced out. Still, our bar area is where, when I say bar, we serve coffee there. But it's
and great coffee, by the way. I just had some. It was awesome. I think he gave me Dead Man's Reach.
Yeah, Dead Man's Reach. So Dead Man's Reach is a dark roast, double caffeinated, naturally double the caffeine coffee. And
is that why I feel jumpy right now?
Probably. It's a coffee I've been carrying for about 25 years. It's one of the first coffees I brought into the shop when I opened it. And the company's from Alaska.
That's right.
And their coffee is phenomenal. And their artwork is done by Ray Troll, who's a local Alaskan artist.
Yeah. If you listen to I don't know, I guess it reminds me of artwork from like the Grateful Dead. Mm-hmm. It's like that theme. It's awesome. The work that he.
Yeah, it's very funky. And a lot of it's like fish type of, not Fish the band, like Fish the fish in the sea.
In the sea. Yeah. Fish the band. That's a good band, by the way.
Yeah.
So no, that's great. That's great. And I know you have the bar that you serve coffee. I mean, there's a lot here. You know, their humidor is great. They carry, all the top sellers. They have the great, great smoking accessories here. If you're looking for lighters, humidors, all the top name brands, and a extremely knowledgeable sales staff. And this is also, one thing that's all impressive in itself. But what makes this shop even extra special is that they have a great pipe business here. Yes. I mean, it's probably one of the top pipe stores in the whole East Coast. I mean, for sure. I mean, you don't get that kind of selection anywhere else, really.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody is a pipe smoker out there, we've become kind of a destination too for people that travel to come see our pipes. And then we ship pipes out worldwide. But we definitely focus on cigars, but we like to have a good pipe selection, pipe tobacco selection.
Mm-hmm. So you have a website, of course, as well.
Yes.
And you have customers all around the world.
Yes. Yeah.
So how far are your customers? Like if you were to say, what country is like the furthest? Do you ship to Japan?
We ship to China.
Okay.
We ship to Japan. We ship to South America. We ship to the Netherlands.
Everywhere.
We ship everywhere.
Everywhere. If you can get it into that country legally, it can go there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So
awesome.
We ship all over the place.
Hats off to you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome because you don't find that too often.
No, and we've been actually starting to ship a lot of cigars too on our website because we have some rare cigars that maybe people can't get on their regular cigar site that they may be going to.
Right, so. Right. And that's also an important thing for shops. we talked about to pivot, to adapt, and especially during these times, to have an online presence, to be able to reach out to your customers is so important. Because even though as the pandemic, subsides and things slowly get back to some type of normalcy, you have people that want to come out and order that stuff. They may not necessarily want to come to the shop because maybe they feel like, I like smoking at home now because, whatever, I don't want to be around people right now.
Yeah. Or don't forget, a lot of people travel and go to other cigar shops. They're on vacation and they stop here, or you're in New Hampshire and you stop at, Twins or Two Guys or something like that.
Right.
So if you have an e-commerce site, maybe they take your card and they go back home and they say, well, I really like their house cigar that they had there and I'd like to order that, or, whatever it may be.
And it just makes it very, very easy for them. They can go on the website or they can call, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They could do whatever they need.
But, it never hurts to have an e-commerce site. I mean, why wouldn't you expand in every avenue you could?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I agree with you. And a lot of shops have it, but a lot of shops, they don't do it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's if they don't have the time, if they think that they don't have the technical know-how to do it, or whatever the case may be. Do yourself a favor and put some type of e-commerce site to just have that other avenue to connect to your customers.
Yeah. And I'd say even if it's too complicated or costly to get an e-commerce, get on social media, get on Instagram, get on Facebook, get your shop out there, do some fun stuff, make some fun videos,
And speaking about videos, you guys do fun videos because I
love doing fun videos. Yeah.
So speaking about social media, and that's another avenue I think that a lot of stores can really take advantage of. Facebook, Instagram. So what are the social media platforms that you're on?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, social media is free and it's easy, so there's no reason not to. And I mean, the big thing now is Instagram, everybody's on Instagram. Mm-hmm. We also do Facebook. We are also on Twitter. We do some YouTube videos. If you're the type of person that wants to do a cigar review at your shop or something like that, YouTube is a great avenue for that. And Instagram's great because Instagram is just about short videos and pictures.
Yeah.
And, I always say I love doing videos and I like to have fun. So we always try to, make a joke in there or just enjoy making the video. If we make mistakes, we just leave it in there because it's part of who we are, right?
It's sincerity. It's being sincere, right? It's like, this is who we are. We have fun doing it. It's not about, putting out a perfect video.
Yeah. And everybody likes to laugh, so I like to do fun videos,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you have the website, you do the videos on Instagram and the other Facebook and so on and so forth. Which is great. And, these are things that, shops should be doing, especially, during these times. Again, that goes back to being able to adapt and to pivot. Because I think going forward, I think you're going to see a lot more of these things as we go through these times.
Well, I think we've all gotten a great lesson on Zoom.
Zoom.
Boy, everybody's Zoom. I'm still Zooming a couple of times a week.
Yeah. Zoom is a big thing. Sure.
But that was one of the things I did, or even like Facebook Live. Like during the pandemic, I was doing a thing called Live at the Shallow Creek Bar. So even though I was working remotely, I tried to keep as few people in the building as possible,
Right.
So I have a smoking lounge in my basement and I'm very fortunate. Someday I'll have to show it to you, Ron.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. But anyway, I was doing a thing called Live at the Shallow Creek Bar where I would talk.
The Shallow Creek Bar is the one in your basement.
That's my basement bar. Yes, okay. Everyone was trying to figure out how there was a bar that was open, but it was. I always used to say patron of one. It was just me.
Yes, we're not advertising the address to this bar.
No, we're not. It's a private bar.
It's a private bar.
But I would interview different pipe makers or some of my cigar reps. And, that was a fun thing to do during the pandemic too, when a lot of people were home.
Yeah. A lot of people. I know that a lot of the reps, especially the ones that work for the big companies, were grounded for a while. They weren't really on the road. I'm a cigar broker. That's my trade at the moment. So I was out there since last June. So I've been visiting different shops and I saw what they were doing, the curbside and the limited capacity. And the ones that were, again, pivoting and adapting did well.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the shops that were in the suburbs and outside the major metropolitan areas were doing very well. Unfortunately, the ones in the major cities like New York City, Washington, D.C., they got hit hard.
Yeah.
I could tell you that for sure.
I know some of the shops in the city that were definitely struggling.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. And hopefully all that'll be coming back online, in the coming months and so on and so forth.
Well, it was a lot harder to do delivery and curbside and that type of stuff in a major city. It just doesn't translate.
Well, the other thing too is a lot of those office buildings were vacant. Everyone was working out of their homes. So the shops in the suburbs were, a lot of them did very well.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
But again, some businesses suffered and a lot of restaurants suffered. I have friends who are in the restaurant business and they got crushed.
Yeah.
And even things like movie theaters, I don't even know how they're going to come back. I mean, the other day I was watching first release movies. You could go to the theater, you could watch it on HBO. At the same time. It's like, okay, well, why would I go to a theater?
Yeah, why would you want to if you can just watch it at home?
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of people have, flat screen TVs. They can watch it in the comfort of their own home. They don't have to pay $30 for a bucket of popcorn. They can.
That's true.
But
yeah, it's going to be interesting this year too for the shop because the one thing we missed last year was doing events. We have a lot of events at the shop. I know a lot of cigar shops have events. And how do you do that when your rep isn't traveling, when you are at limited capacity? So it's been interesting how do you do that?
So did you find a way to do some of these events? Was it online or
we did some online. We did some via Zoom and did Zoom calls. And I'm hoping to kind of slowly start introducing those back now that things are starting to open up. And like I said, before people are getting vaccinated and getting out there. So we have a big event we do every year called Rep Roast. That's like the Dean Martin or the Comedy Central style roast. Yeah. And unfortunately, that did not happen last year. We had no way to really do that.
Right. Now, is that something that you're going to bring back this year?
Yeah, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, let me cross my fingers, if everything goes as planned, we're hoping to do that in September of this year. So we've missed that. The customers absolutely love it.
Awesome.
You get a ton of cigars, a lot of jokes. It's a lot of fun. People make fun of me all the time.
I can't see how that's possible, but okay.
I think the first year, everyone was terrified to make fun of me, and the second year, that was it. It was game on.
Your product, 50% off. I don't want to see your face again.
I actually did that to somebody. I said that exact thing. I won't say what company that was, but yes.
As a joke or for real?
Oh, it was just a joke. Oh, okay. No, it was a joke.
Okay. If you're watching this, you know who you are.
Yes, you do know who you are, but I didn't put your product on sale at 50 off.
There you go. That's funny. So, I mean, I know that some of the companies were doing the Zoom meetings. They would send out a package of cigars or whatever, and then they would get together on Zoom. Especially in the early days, I saw a lot more of that. And then it kind of, I don't know if people were suffering from Zoom burnout or something after.
Yeah, I think people are kind of getting to Zoom burnout.
Yeah,
I feel
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And my old manager, Dan, we did something really interesting though. I thought that was a lot of fun, and it was called Retailers United.
Right.
And it was something we did with a Facebook Live. So it started out, I went to the last show I traveled was 2020 in February to go to a show in Las Vegas, a cigar and pipe show, and met another retailer there. We were both nominated for Tobacconist of the Year.
Okay.
And we wanted to do a Zoom together and just make it fun, right? Our customers, your customers, the fact that we're all in the cigar business together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's do something fun together and work together.
That's great.
And my manager at the time had taken that and reached out to some other shops.
Mm-hmm.
So we had, I want to say, probably about 5 shops on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was super creative and super fun because we all kind of talked about the industry, the cigar industry, and what was going on. And
right.
It was great. It was a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah, no, that's great that you can get together with other people and kind of, come together in these times that it's uncertain. People have been, hurt by this pandemic. Some of them might have lost, some businesses or whatever. Which brings me to another point, which we talked about before we started the tape rolling here. Now, you're very active in an organization that was set up, I guess it was around 2010, 2011. I should know this date because I was going
to say, you will know this very well.
I was one of the founding people of this organization.
Yeah.
The New York Tobacconists Association.
Yeah.
And you guys have been working very, very hard in Albany and lobbying for different things. So I want to spend some time now talking about what's going on in the state of New York when it comes to taxes, restrictions, anything that you can kind of enlighten the audience here that's going to be watching this to get a better understanding of the stresses that are being put on your businesses.
Yeah, for sure. I joined the New York Tobacconists Association. I'm treasurer on the board. I joined, it's got to be 3 years now, I believe. I've been doing that. And it's a great organization. I devote a lot of time to it, as does every member on the board. And it is like we're saying about working together. So this is an organization that wants to work with shops to fight our taxes or different things that may be coming, like flavor bans and different things like that, to help out, obviously, our shop and our consumers, that buy from us.
So let's kind of educate the people out there. What is the tax that someone can expect to pay? Like, what is this tobacco tax? So people understand why this is a tax that is not good for these businesses.
No, it's not a very fair tax at all. And this all started last year. We had kind of a multiplier that we used, that our cigar tax in New York State was 28.5%.
All right. So tobacco tax is 28.5%.
28.5%. You can work with that because, we are competing too with
other
people that are buying from other states. Yeah. So October 1st, they took that multiplier from us and we went to a 75% tax.
Wow. 75%.
75%. No warning. They
didn't even tell you.
Didn't tell us. So, people didn't know it was coming. And if you're not a member of the association, also, you wouldn't, how would you know this?
Yeah. No, I mean, you wouldn't know.
You'd have no way of knowing. So it was pretty devastating because, again, you have shops that are dealing with the pandemic and we need help, and they increased the tax to 75%.
So what does that mean for a cigar? Like, for instance, if there was no tax, and let's say the cigar we're smoking now, retails for, make the math easy. Let's say it's a $10 cigar if there was no tax.
Right.
What will that mean for this cigar in the state of New York?
Well, I mean, for example, if we just kind of dial it down for a second, which it won't, but let's say it's $1, and you had a 75% tax, that's 75 cents.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's almost doubles.
Yep.
The price of the cigar.
Right. Yeah. No, I can see that.
So when you take a $10 cigar, that's going to make it almost $20.
Almost $20. But you can go to another state and pay a lot less.
Pennsylvania and buy it tax free.
Yeah, there's no right.
You can go to Connecticut or Rhode Island, where there's a 50-cent tax cap.
So how does this tax work in terms of, your businesses? It doesn't sound like it works at all.
No, it puts us at a big disadvantage here.
Yeah.
So what we did, the New York Tobacconist Association, is we have a bill for a 50-cent tax cap on premium cigars.
Okay.
So we're trying to make that pass and make that a law, and that will be huge, and that will help us compete with neighboring states that have a 50-cent tax cap, with states that don't have any tobacco tax, and it'll help keep business here in our shops.
I think that, I have a little experience. I haven't been in the loop for a while, but I can tell you this. When you have a tax that is so high, 75% or higher, I can think of another state that's even higher because my parents live in that state. Vermont is 90%.
Yes.
So when you have these taxes that are just out of control, I don't understand what the end game is for the people in Albany, because on paper, it may look like you're going to make all this money, but that's not true. Because what happens is a lot of these businesses fold, or their customers just go to the other states. So you're not going to get this tax revenue anyway. So what have you done? You've put these businesses out of business, basically.
Well, yeah, you put them at a disadvantage.
Great disadvantage.
Yeah, and you have to think like a guy may come into your shop and he'll buy one cigar and he'll sit and smoke it.
Yep.
And then he'll get his box of cigars delivered.
So basically, you've become like a taste testing room, basically.
Right, exactly.
Like, I've always wanted to try this cigar. Let me buy it for $20, even though it's maybe $10 somewhere else. I really like this. And then they go on their phone or whatever, and then they order it online. And, you lose out on the box sale.
Right.
And you can't, it becomes very hard for any business to survive just selling sticks, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah. You definitely want to sell boxes as well.
Of course.
And it's tough to do that. And I think, when you talk Albany, they're not understanding that people are buying product and bringing it in, and they are not making any revenue on it. So if you have the 50-cent tax cap, revenue is going to go up. They're going to make more money because we're selling more cigars.
Yeah. And I think what happens too is, and I've seen this time and time again, where these the lawmakers in capitals such as Albany, they have to raise money. They're looking for money. They're looking for money anywhere they can find it. But as they raise taxes on different things, there's a lot of things out there that people push back on, like, we're going to tax your water. What? No, we're going to tax your gas. We're going to tax this, but don't tax that. Don't tax that. And then they say, well, how about tobacco? I'm not a smoker, so tax them.
Right.
Problem is, it doesn't work.
Right.
And it doesn't work because they can go elsewhere to get the same product at a lot less cost.
Right.
So why would they buy it? So, and that's the problem. It's the law of diminishing returns. It's simple economic theory.
Right.
And I really wish that the lawmakers took economic courses, because they should know this. And I don't understand why they, I have a theory is maybe they don't care and they want to put everyone out of business anyway. But
yeah, I think sometimes they don't care, but I think sometimes they need to be educated, and I think it's our job as shop owners to open dialogue with our state senators, with our assembly people. Open a dialogue, let them know who you are. We were kind of talking about this earlier. You should know who your state senator is and who your assembly person is.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
You should reach out and communicate with them. If you have a shop, invite them to your shop. Let them see what goes on here. Let them know who you are, the fact that you have a great group of people that are in here, all local, that want to sit and have a lounge and have this experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Invite your assemblyman or woman or your senator. Come to the shop. Let them talk to your customers. Say, hey, this is a place we like to go. This is our place where we enjoy our cigars. Why are we hurting these businesses? And hopefully, if they have some compassion and they're good people, they'll say, hey, maybe we have to revisit this and do something to help them out, because just raising the tax, 75%, And what's to stop them from, going 90, 100, 120%?
Well, yeah, we had a proposal from somebody to raise the tax to 129%.
Yeah. How does that? That doesn't make any
crazy.
sense. They'll never see anything.
You won't get any revenue, right? They're trying to raise money, but you're not going to raise money doing that.
Yeah. I mean, and then, there's just so many things that seems backwards to me. And this is a fight that we've been doing, ever since the organization was put together. Yeah. And honestly, I think this is a fight that's going to continue. I mean, these are battles. The war is never over.
Yeah.
There's one battle after the other. And it's not just tobacco tax. There's also flavor bans in some places, right?
Yes. There's been a lot of talk about flavor bans in Albany County, in the state of New York. I'd even be concerned about that on a federal level, flavor bans. And, flavor bans, again, it's about education, because a lot of times they're going after a specific thing and they just say flavor ban. And they don't realize that's pipe tobacco. Mm-hmm.
Look,
a kid's not going to want to smoke some, I don't know, Apple pipe tobacco.
Oreo cookie bubblegum cigar.
Right. And that doesn't exist, though. We don't have that. So if somebody wants to have a coffee flavored cigar, I don't think that should be banned.
Yeah. And the other thing you have to understand, too, is when somebody references or somebody says, oh, this has notes of cocoa or chocolate or blueberry or blackberry or, whatever notes they're picking up, it doesn't mean that, like if I'm smoking a cigar and I say, yeah, I'm picking up hints of cocoa, it doesn't mean that it tastes exactly like a Hershey bar. Right. Trust me, no child is going to pick this up and say, wow, this tastes like a Hershey. No.
Yes, this tastes like bubble gum. But yes, you're right. If you say things like that, that could be considered a flavor. Yeah. Cocoa or chocolate or Yeah.
And it's, and then at the same time, they're talking about flavor ban. Well, if you're going to put a flavor ban, how about flavor bans on alcohol? You go and you go into your local bar and you'll see vodka, you see, cherry vodka, lime vodka, lemon vodka, all these flavors, but they don't touch that.
Right. And tobacco now is 21 and over, just like alcohol is.
That's right. That's right. And
in fact, you can't come in our shop unless you are over 21.
Yeah. So, I can tell you every true tobacconist, any cigar lounge or tobacconist that sells premium cigars, they do not sell to children. There's no reason for these cigar shops to sell to children. It just makes no sense at any level. And I'm sure that if someone walks in here and you say, can I see your ID? And they show you ID or they say, I don't have my ID. You say, well, you got to go.
Yeah. They get turned around.
Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
We had somebody come in the other day and my employee asked for their ID and on the spot said, when is your birthday? And their birthday was different than what their ID said. So they immediately got turned around because they must have had a fake ID or something.
Yeah.
So
just take the extra second, ask for the ID or ask them if they're over the age of 21.
Yeah.
And you'll never have that problem.
Right. Right.
But they always use, it's unfortunate, but they always use the children, protecting the children, which is the biggest crock that I've ever heard because it's just not true.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse to try to pass something to say that they're protecting. And now look, you may have a few bad apples in certain types of shops that are not really true tobacconists.
Right.
And guess what? If they sell to a minor, you fine them. If they do it enough times, you shut them down. And end of story.
Right.
You know? It's simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, there's,
But yeah, I think it's important to, if you have a shop, belong to your state organization. If there is one, if there isn't, you should form one. I strongly suggest it. And just be in the loop with what's going on in your state.
Yeah. And just like Kathleen just said, they can put things in a budget bill. They can, and not even advertise that this is going on, which I think is wrong. There should be some type of period where they say, oh, by the way, we're going to have some comment period. We're going to talk about this. If you're interested in this subject, you should come to these meetings so you can learn more about what's going on and then you can debate it. and try to convince them that this is a bad idea. But when they're sneaking stuff in to pass it, and they only do that because they know they're going to get pushback.
Yeah, I mean, you have to educate yourself too. I go online to the New York State Senate site, and I will do a search, and I will search the word cigars.
Yeah.
So I can see everything that's out there that is a bill or could possibly be in the budget. So it takes a lot of research on your end too, and that, again, that's why you join an organization like New York Tobacconists Association, because we are doing that back work for you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So if you have a shop and you're in the state of New York and you're not a member of the New York Tobacco Association, how can they become a member? Where do they go? Who do they call? What website do they go to, et cetera?
Yeah, we have a website. It's newyorktobacconist.org.
Okay.
And then you can email at info@newyorktobacconist.org with any questions you have. You can go to the website. You can contact us that way. We do have a Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, just look up New York Tobacconists Association. You can find us on there as well.
Okay. Now that's pretty much more for the retailers. Is there an outlet for the consumer as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's for retailers. We do have some consumers that interact as well.
Okay.
And you'll see that on our page. And it's interesting for consumers too, because there is a legislative page on the website. And I do a lot of the posting there.
Okay.
And so I kind of keep people up to date with, because consumers want to know too, if their cigar tax is going up or what's happening. So you can interact on the legislative page. You can make a donation to the New York Tobacconists Association, also on the page, and we'll send you a cool little NYTA supporter sticker.
Nice.
That you can put on your travel humidor.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have consumers that interact on that page as well.
Do you have, I don't know if they still do this, but I remember back in the early days of the NYTA, there were certain manufacturers that would have certain products that were solely for the state of New York. Is that something that's still happening?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because we have a lot of projects in the works. So, we know there was the Monte Cristo, New York, right? That came out. That was just specifically for New York State.
I remember that. Yeah.
And we are currently working on a New York exclusive cigar.
Nice.
That's going to be with Rocky Patel.
All right. Rocky Patel.
So that is in the process, in the works. We have our blend. We're working on the artwork for it. So keep your eye out for that. It will be New York brick and mortar shops only.
Okay. So
you cannot get that online. You have to go into a shop in New York.
And that also brings me to this other point, support your local tobacconists. It's so important that you get out there and you support these shops, because without you guys, well, there'll be no place for you to go and enjoy a fine premium cigar and actually have the selection of cigars and pipes and all that good stuff that you're all used to. So make sure that you get involved in some capacity. And even if it's just getting involved just by going to the shop,
right,
and supporting your brick and mortar. Because there's so many places that if you don't support them, I'm seeing it with the restaurants, these places are places that are needed. So.
Well, it's interesting. You can see on our legislative page on our website, there was a news story that we saw about a place called Sheik's. I don't know if you know Sheik's Cigars.
I've been there. Yes,
he's in North Syracuse.
That is correct.
And so our president of the NYTA went out and interviewed Sheik, and it's a sad story, really. He's closing up shop and moving out of New York because of the 75% tax and the burden that's put on him.
Yeah, it's just
and
too
his
much,
loss of business. Yeah. So if you go to newyorktobacconist.org and you click on the legislative page, you can watch that video.
Mm-hmm.
And see actually what is happening to local shops in New York.
Yeah, I saw that video and I was watching it, and it was sad because they were filming it inside the humidor, and his humidor was bare. There was nothing left, and it was a sad story. It didn't have to happen. Here's a situation where you're trying the state is trying to get this tax revenue, and now not only are they not getting the tobacco tax, they're not getting any of the other taxes that the business will be paying.
Sure, sales tax, everything else,
sales tax, and all that other stuff. So, and that's just one example. I mean, as this goes on, and there's more pressure on some of these businesses.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that in order to survive in these times, you have to be able to come up with other ways. And it sounds like you've done that here at the Queensbury Cigar and Pipe.
Yeah.
Which is good. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't.
It puts a lot of pressure. And not only that, you have employees. So now you got to let your employees go. So now you have people on the unemployment rolls in the state of New York. So it's a trickle down effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we talked about the tax, which is very oppressive, and hurting these businesses. And then there was the flavor ban. You talked about the 50-cent cap, which would be a great help for you guys.
That would be tremendous. Yeah.
Tremendous help.
And then, about like you doing New York exclusive cigars, which is important for us to do. And we are going to be doing a golf tournament too. So we're going to have, I want to say it's the first NYTA golf tournament.
And when is this happening?
It's to be determined. We don't have the exact date yet. I believe it's end of August.
So is this these are for the consumer as well, right?
These are for consumers as well. Yeah. It's going to be at the Edison Club.
Okay.
Which I want to say is just south of Albany area.
Okay.
Edison Club. It's a private club, which is always exciting, when you get to play at a private club. I don't know if you're a golfer, but, it's
a very bad golfer.
I'm a terrible golfer, but sometimes private clubs just have beautiful, beautiful courses. And it's an opportunity to play at a course you couldn't normally do that at.
And that's a good draw. If you're a golfer and you've always wanted to play in a private club, especially what's called Edison, you said?
Edison Club,
the Edison Club. This is an opportunity for you to have a way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, that'll be on our Facebook page and on our website when we get all the details
that's
settled.
awesome.
We were going to do that last year, but obviously we weren't able to do golf tournaments at that time.
Yeah, you couldn't do much of anything.
No, you really couldn't.
It was tough.
Yeah.
So I mean, it sounds like you've got everything going in terms of the NYTA. You're moving along, and again, with your support, the retailers and the consumers, and doing events and stuff like that, it could all help. And I think
absolutely.
I think it's important that that people know about what's going on.
Well, yeah, and just to say again, like I said before, I think it's very important for us to all work together. Even consumers, shops, all of us. We're all in the same fight.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's strength in numbers, and and as long as we have the numbers there, and people are on the same page, and they're trying to educate, like you said educate the lawmakers, which is important. And then hopefully they'll come to their senses and say, what, this was a mistake. We have to do something to help these businesses, and to do what they did during the pandemic is just an insult to these businesses. I mean, and to do it without even telling you they were going to do it.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
I don't want to be harsh and say it was a slap in the face, but I mean,
it was a slap in the face.
It's kind of a slap in the face.
Of course.
Yeah. We expect the government to help small business through tough times.
That's what they should be doing.
Not to make it harder.
Yeah. Yeah. So on one end of the hand, the government is handing you money, stimulus money, helping you out. And then on the other side, they're trying to put you out of business. So it's like,
it's very confusing.
The hypocrisy in that is crazy.
And what they don't understand, and again, through education, with this 50-cent tax cap, they can make more money, when at a time where New York is broke. They need to make revenue. And so this is a revenue maker for them.
Well, absolutely. And then to add insult to injury, New York State just went legal recreational cannabis, and their tax, from my understanding, is they're taxing that at 13%.
Well, it's funny. I read the entire bill the other day. I like to read all the bills that are out there. I'm just, I don't know. I like to know what's going on in the state.
Absolutely.
And I had read it's 18% with no sales tax right now.
Okay. So how does that?
So when you think about, and by the way, a lot of that are the crazy flavors too, right? The bubble gum and all that stuff.
Yeah. So how does that work?
I don't understand when we get attacked for, Java coffee flavored cigar or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, the bottom line is, once these dispensaries open up, there's going to be a lot of tax money going into the New York State coffers.
Right.
Right. There's no need to charge 75% to these businesses that can't make it, or they're going to have a hard time.
We just want to be treated fairly. We want to be on an even level.
Exactly. That's simple. Do it fairly, tax fairly.
Yes.
And especially look around your borders and see what your neighbors are doing, and why are you double or triple the tax than everybody else? I mean, again, going back to the to economics, it's just not going to work.
Right. Yeah.
So,
it's definitely simple mathematics.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
No.
It is what it is,
yes.
So, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that, okay, this tax doesn't work,
Well, and again, I keep kind of going back a little bit, but then, like I said, it's about your relationship too. Get to know your senator, your assembly people, form a relationship with them. Then you can open a dialogue where they'll listen to you,
I think what should have happened, and again, I don't know, I'm not a politician. I don't know how these guys think, but it's simple. If I was a politician and they put this bill in front of me and I'm looking at this 75% tax, my question would be like, all right, we need to reach out to these premium cigar shops and see what the real world consequences are going to be if we do this. Just to put it in there and pass it without talking to the industry.
Yeah, and this actually wasn't even a bill. This was
in the budget.
Exactly. It was in the budget where they said, we're just going to pull this multiplier that we had to get us at 28.5%.
Right.
We're just going to remove that.
Yeah.
And no one will know.
Yeah. But now everybody knows, and now you've done damage.
Right.
You've done more damage than good. So, it just doesn't make, any sense.
Yeah.
So,
well, on a positive note, I always like to wrap it up positively. We're hoping to get this passed. If it doesn't go in this year's budget, sometimes it takes 2 cycles to get something passed. I'm sure you're well aware of that.
Yeah. Takes time.
So it may have to, go over into next year's budget, but I feel pretty positive about it. I want to think positively about it, that this is something we can get done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's something that can be done. We just have to, again, power in numbers, strength in numbers.
Yes.
And contact, if you're a store and you're in the state of New York, contact your local politician that's in your area and let them know your concerns and what needs to be done to help these businesses out.
Yeah. And if you are a business and you need help, just email info@New York Tobacconists Association. Email. I will answer the email. I'll help you in any way that I can.
Oh, absolutely. And there's some great people on the board. These are seasoned tobacconists. They've been in the business a long time. They understand the dynamics in Albany and how things work. And they will do what they need to do to get this done and get the tax cap over the goal line, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I want to think positive about that this is going to happen.
It will happen. Yes. We got to think positive.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, you've done some great work. And running the shop, managing the shop, doing everything you do here. And at the same time, your work at the NYTA has you spread all over the place.
Yeah.
But, you're making it happen and you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah. And I mean, I really enjoy this industry. I love what I do.
Yep.
I love the camaraderie. Everybody here is family to me. And there are some great, great people on our board too, at the NYTA. I wouldn't change it for anything. I absolutely love it. It keeps me busy, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that life? If you love what you do, it's not really work.
No, it's not. And you always have to, people come to me and say, oh, I'm afraid about opening my own business and it's kind of scary and it's, And I know when I opened my business, I looked at it like, you know what, I'm going to do this. If I fail, I fail, right? I pick myself up and I carry on and I do something else.
But you're never going to know unless you try.
You have to try. So sometimes in life, you just got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And
if you play it safe all the time, you're probably going to live a mediocre existence, and probably you're not going to even be happy. You're gonna always going to be stressed out and stuff. And you were able to, like I said, pivot and to adapt to all these situations, and you did it well. Shop looks great. Everything looks great here. You run a tight ship here. Before we wrap up the podcast, is there anything else before we move on from NYT? Is there anything that we missed on the NYTA that you need to?
No, I think that kind of covers everything.
That covers everything.
Yeah.
So again, check out the NYTA. It's New York.
NewYorkTobacconist.org or info at NewYorkTobacconist.org, or check us out on Facebook. Just look up New York Tobacconist Association.
Awesome. And before we wrap it up, I just wanted to see what sort of events are coming to Queensbury Cigar and Pipe in the coming months.
Yeah, it's nice to actually be able to do events.
Oh, yeah.
Again. So we've always been home of the UFC here. We carry the UFC fights. It's a lot of fun.
Now, I understand that you have a celebrity UFC fighter that you kind of get behind here.
Yes, we're big Conor McGregor fans here.
Okay.
Huge fans. We get out the Irish flags and the banners and everything else for Conor because we just love him. So Conor is due to fight again July. He's fighting July 10th.
July 10th.
So we will be carrying UFC here, that particular UFC. But we do carry all the UFC fights. I have a website called QueensburyCigarandPipe.com that has a lot of information and a calendar that lists all of events that are happening, upcoming and stuff at the shop.
Awesome. And those are like the fight. That's a ticketed event, I take it?
That's a ticketed event. Typically, depending on the fight, because, sometimes we pay more like when McGregor fights than we would for a regular UFC.
Right.
But typically, tickets are $40 and you get 2 cigars.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
And then you broadcast it through in here only, or you?
No, yeah, we broadcast it actually in the private lounge.
Okay.
And then we do it in our main lounge, and we also have a big TV out on the patio, and we show the fights out there as well.
Nice. So no matter where you are on the property, you'll be able to, as long as you have a ticket and you're part of the event, you can watch the fight.
Absolutely. I mean, we may have had people waiting in the parking lot when we're sold out to try to get tickets for some of the UFC. That has happened before.
Yeah, that's you told me that story. That's pretty wild.
It's really funny when somebody's waiting in the parking lot trying to buy somebody's ticket because we're sold out.
Normally you would see that at Madison Square Garden before you go in for the concert. But
I've never seen anything like that. I just never have.
But to see it here in Queensbury Cigar and Pipe,
that was wild.
I mean, that just pretty much speaks volumes and says that, people want to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the UFCs typically sell out. The fights will sell out. So, we always encourage people to buy tickets ahead of time. For the event, especially now we still are at like 75% capacity. So they sell out very, very quickly. And hopefully we will be announcing Rep Roast very soon. I'm hoping to do that in September. We're still ironing out the date for that.
Well, definitely let me know. That's something I'd love to come up for.
Oh, Ron.
I don't want to be roasted.
I've got some jokes about you. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I'm busy that day. No, I'll be here.
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing. You have to be made fun of, you know? But so that'll be a lot of fun. You get a lot of cigars. Consumers love it. A lot of jokes. It's just a fun night.
Awesome.
A lot of music. It's great. It's a great night. And then end of September also, we'll have Americade up here, which is a big motorcycle rally.
Okay.
Now, that typically happens the first week in June, but just because I guess they didn't know what was going to be going on as far as things opening here in New York, that's been pushed to late September. That's a lot of fun if you're looking to come up to the area on vacation and you like motorcycles. It's loud, but it's awesome. There are a lot of bikes up here.
Yeah, it's like, I forgot the name of it. There's a famous one down south where it attracts like thousands of motorcycle people. And
Yes, I should know the name of this. I feel like it happens. Sturgis? No, Sturgis is somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Boy, we're going to get ripped by any motorcycle people. I think Sturgis is like South Dakota. I'm going to probably misspeak.
I'm not a motorcycle person, sorry.
But usually right after Americade in June is Laconia.
Okay.
And I believe that's in New Hampshire.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of bike things that happen around here too.
So it's got to be loud.
It's loud. It's loud, but it's so cool. It's a lot of fun. It's
awesome.
A lot of fun to see all the bikes.
Awesome. All right. But, is there any last thing that you want to add?
No, that's it. Like I say, Queensbury Cigar and Pipe.com has our upcoming events and anything that's going on in the shop. And then Cup of Joe's, CUPOJOES, Cup Ojo's.
Cup Ojo.
It's like WNBC. If anybody listens to Howard Stern would know that joke.
WNBC. Okay. Yes.
But yeah, cupofjoes.com is our e-commerce.
And address for the shop and the telephone number?
Yep, 1036 Route 9, Queensbury, New York, 12804. Phone number is 518-636-3308.
Awesome. Kathleen, I want to thank you for being on the show and for inviting me back here to do this with you guys. I know we did it, a year and a half ago.
Yep.
That was more about showcasing the lounge. But I also wanted to kind of catch up and see what's going on, as well as get the word out as to what you guys are doing with the, the good work that the NYTA is doing, and try to get that information out there so people know to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me. I had a great time. It was nice catching up because there was some new stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah. A lot has happened for sure.
A lot has happened. Yes,
but we're still here.
Yes, we are.
We're still here, and we're still smoking cigars.
Yep.
And
thriving and surviving.
I like it. Thriving and surviving. And on that note, you've been listening to the Purveyor Zone with Ron Melendi. I'm here in Queensbury at Queensbury Cigar and Pipe with Kathleen Kelly, the owner of this fine establishment. You can find this video on YouTube, Vimeo, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe and to like. And have a great day, guys. Stay smoky, and remember to support your local brick and mortar tobacconist. They're here for you, and I would like you, obviously, to support them and to make sure that they're going to be here for many years to come. So thank you. Thank you, Kathleen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you listening.
All right. Goodbye.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.